Welcome back, I'm Ron the Cook. Today's gonna be another basics of cooking, and today we're gonna be covering escabeche. Escabeche is a form of preserving, specifically a form of acidic preserving or pickling. Escabeche is by no means a modern invention. We can trace its roots to the 8th century in Persia. The technique involved cooking meats or fish in a sweet and sour sauce, sometimes involving grapes or quince and vinegars. At this time period, it was not known as escabeche, but in Persian, it was known as sekbaji. It's believed that this word came from the combination of two words, sik or sak meaning vinegar, and bay meaning broth or stew. As the Iberian Peninsula was colonized, the Muslim and Moorish cultures brought many things with them: mathematics, science, culture, and cuisine. The Persian sekbaji was adapted for the Iberian Peninsula. It helped preserve food and prevent spoilage in such a hot climate. From the 13th century onward, the Iberian people took back their land and pushed the ruling class out. But what remained from the colonization, we can see lasting effects today, specifically in culture, architecture, and food. This technique of preserving was renamed escabeche, with one key adaptation: olive oil. You would take the olive oil and fry the ingredients before pickling them. Now we fast forward to the 16th and 18th century. This is the age of exploration, where the Spanish and Portuguese navigators started to circle the planet. And this is how escabeche went global. At this point, it was used specifically to preserve foods for long ship voyages. It was brought to the Caribbean by Spanish and Portuguese colonizers, followed by Peru, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. And the technique comes full circle back to Africa through Spanish and Portuguese colonizers, bringing new ingredients from the New World. The key differences between where escabeche started and where we are now is the precursor to escabeche used verjus, basically sour grape juice, versus vinegar today. The original was much more of a sweet and sour, almost equal parts sweet and sour to make the dish, versus today where it's much more acidic. And originally, this technique was used specifically for fish and meats, while today it's used much more for vegetables. Enough of the history lesson, now let's make some escabeche. Full ingredient breakdown in the description below: 8 jalapeños sliced, 6 baby carrots that have been sliced on a bias, 10 French radishes that I just quartered, 1 white onion sliced, 6 cloves of garlic sliced. Then for our spices, we've got 2 teaspoons of oregano, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 tablespoon of black pepper. We've got 2 ounces of some garlic oil from my confit garlic oil video, 1/4 cup of sugar, and I'm going with a 2% salt mix on this, which is gonna be 57 grams of salt. We'll also be needing 2 cups of vinegar and 4 cups of water. We'll start with our olive oil. So again, this is the garlic confit oil that I made in my last video. We're gonna add our garlic in cold. I'm gonna turn this to a low simmer, which is about 225 degrees. Right when you start to get a little bit of color on the edges of your garlic and it's starting to look nice and translucent, we're gonna add in our carrots and our jalapenos. Give that a stir. Get all that oil covering everything. And we're gonna turn our heat up to a medium, about 250 degrees. I'm gonna sprinkle in all of our spices. Add in our radishes, sugar, and salt. Give that a stir. Now we add in our vinegar and water. Now we're gonna bring it up to a boil and cut our heat. I have not added the onions yet because they don't require much cooking. We just want them to be kissed by heat at the very end so they retain some of their structure and their crunch. Now we're up to a boil. Just turn off your heat. Once it settles down, we're gonna add in our onions. Ooh, try not to overflow. Maybe next time I'll pick a bigger pan. Get them down in there. Pop our cover on. Now we let this cool to room temperature before we put it into our jars. Look how absolutely beautiful all of these vegetables look. Our onions have become translucent. Everything still has some texture to it. Let's give them a taste. Gotta go in for a jalapeno. Go. Perfect. Good amount of acid, perfect amount of salt. You're getting the heat from the jalapeno. You're also getting the beautiful background notes of cumin and oregano. These are absolutely perfect and so easy to make. Now these can be used immediately once they cool, but I recommend actually letting them sit in the jar overnight before you use them. That's when the flavors are really gonna meld together and you can get this beautiful amalgamation of the jalapenos, the onions, the garlic. I love these reusable tops. They're dishwasher safe. They have the inner seal you can pull out and wash as well. This recipe does produce more liquid than you actually need. So this is what I have left over. A little more than a pint or about 500 milliliters. Do not throw this away. This excess liquid is perfect for making salad dressings. Want to check out the rest of my culinary basics? Click right there. And if you want to check out some of my cocktails, click up there for Thirsty Thursdays. Until next time, I'm Ron the Cook.